Beep, beep. My hat!
Alright, so now we just have to do the battery tie. So the battery tie is pretty simple. It's just 4 parts. There's these 2 screws right here, and then here's the gate, and this is the lock. So notice that there, and this key's in here. So the way it's going to work is this is going to attach to the chassis, this is going to hinge to the chassis, and then once this closes here, you will just have to turn this and it'll lock. And that's it. So this will go here, right in there. And let's see. Perfect. So one of the things to notice is, notice this little plate here. That goes under the cover. So this should close right in there. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to drive one of these screws through here. And again, do not over tighten, just make sure it's snug. That is really all you need. And so do a little side view here. And I'm just gauging the distance here, just eyeballing it. And there we go. So, just see it moves freely, should move freely. That is it. And now I just need the locking mechanism. And you're just going to place the screw through it. And just going to screw it on here. And again, this just, do not over tighten this, or else it'll be too hard, but you also don't want it too loose. And I'm going to test. Alright, that goes in there, and that feels perfect. Good. So it should be snug, but not too tight. And that is all for that part. Other than that, you're pretty much set. That's going to be holding your battery in place. Your battery's going to slide in here, the wires are going to come in through here, and that's how you're going to plug into your ESC. And that is it for the battery tie. Alright, so let's see. I thought I'd figured out how the manual goes. Like previously I'd said, oh, there's a 1. Must be bag part 1. To be honest, I have no clue. This manual is not the friendliest. Definitely not a techno manual. Had it been techno, it would have been super easy to follow. Then again, had it been techno, you would have had to assemble every little bit. But bag 2 appears to have some of the drivetrain parts. So there's a pinion gear in there, and it appears to be a little motor cover. And then this large piece of plastic appears to be for the electronics, right here on page 25. So I'm going to go ahead and open this bag up, and I'm just going to follow the motor. So I'm going to install the motor first with the pinion gear, which is in here, and I'm going to skip a few pages. So right now I am on page 22 for bag 2. Has a number 4. I don't know. You can go ahead and, in the comments, just let us know what that means. Alright, this appears to be a motor cover, which will not fit the motor that we are using. Actually, it might be the transmission cover. But we will see. Here is the pinion gear, so it does come with a pinion gear. And this appears to be for the electronics. The reason why I say that is it comes with 3M tape, foam tape, hardware, antenna tube, and this plate that I'm assuming covers everything up. So we will see how this turns out. Alright, let's start with the motor. Right, well, the motor's going to be easy to install. It generally is. Let's just see. Alright, so hardware should be in here. Here it is. Alright. So they do provide a pinion gear, and this here is, actually it doesn't say how many teeth, I could count them. It comes with a pinion gear and the 2 screws to mount up the motor. You will be needing some thread lock compound of some sort. I'm just going to use this here. And I'm going to start with the little oppressor screw, this little set screw. Just a small amount. You don't need that much thread lock really. It's a nice little dab, and there are 2 holes. Pick one. And I'm just going to get it close there. Alright, that is ready to go. So, that being said, your motor, oh, that's what that covers. This cover covers this up. It is just a dust cover. Your motor is going to go in through the left side. So it's going to go in through here, and you're going to screw it through the right. Now, let's see, Rod has a heat sink on this. I'm going to try to push it back to try to keep the heat sink. It appears he wants the heat sink. Let's see, can I push this back? Yeah. So I will, let's see, that doesn't hit any terminals, everything would be good. So let's go ahead and see if this would fit with the heatsink, since I'm assuming he wants the heatsink. Alright, perfect. So just slide the motor in, and then just find the holes. Nope. Alright, here we go. No, that's not going to be it either. There we go. Perfect. Alright, so as you can see, there's one, there's the other down there. So, I'm going to go ahead and get this screw ready. Should have actually gotten the screws ready first. My recommendation is put the screw on the driver first before you do this, and then dab a little bit of thread lock on there, as I have, and hold it this way. And there it is. Do not tighten it all the way. You do need a little play because you will be adjusting the mesh. So this is on, the motor is not going to fall out anymore, but notice I can still turn it. So there's still some play there. Now I just need the other screw. And one of the things, let's see, all right, let's go ahead and drive the element in. There we go. Alright, there we go. Not too tight, not too loose. And the pinion gear is going to fall in with the set screw on top. And you will notice there's a little channel here, a little groove that's been cut out. This is so that your driver goes in. So let's see, I think you can kind of see it through there. If I do that, there we go. Okay, so you can see it. It is right there. Right. And let's see, so that means that my motor is the wrong orientation, which is fine. I'll just tighten this a little more. That should be enough. Should be able to slide in. All right, and then all you do is line it up. Perfect. All right, so now I can set the mesh. All right. So one of the things about this gear, you don't want this to be too far down because then the teeth from the spur are going to be hitting the round from the pinion and you're not going to get the correct mesh. And if it's too far out, the set screw is not going to fit depending on the motor. Some motors have a longer shaft, some motors have a shorter shaft. The motor that I am using is the one that my friend Rod wanted here. If you're just doing a brushed motor, there's some motors out there with a longer shaft. That's what I would recommend. For example, if you just had a Traxxas Titan, the 12 turn, or even I think they make a 23 or 23.5 turn, they generally put on their crawlers. Those come with a much longer shaft. Those would actually be better motors for this system, just because of the way this is designed and set up. Looks pretty good. And I've done some other videos on setting up the mesh. When you set up the mesh, if you're not very good at eyeballing or just feel, use a piece of paper. Just put a piece of paper through there. That's a little too much play. Oops. Let's do this. There we go. And we'll hold it there. Snug it up. One of the things to be careful when you're tightening up these screws, because the way it mounts, you have to hold the motor on this other side, as I'm doing here, so that as you're tightening, it doesn't want to push the motor out and then mess up your mesh. Something else that you can do is if you can use this hole here, I didn't use it because of the mesh didn't quite fit, that one right there. So you have the driver right on it. Use that one. Alright, but as of now, perfect. Alright, so the motor is on correctly, and there we go. So now, the next thing that we have to do after the motor, so we did the motor is not supplied, so you do need your own motor and your own speed control. We can go ahead and install the cover. So the cover is this other bag right over here. this one just has one little screw. That is it. This is easy. Let's close the knife. So you need your 2mm driver. Let's flip this over. And let's see. We'll do that. And you really do want to use this dust cover, and the reason why is you're going to get some dirt, little grains of sand in there, and it's just going to destroy your spur. That's the reason why. So we'll go in here, so Kyosho, and this should just clip on. Should just clip on. Alright. Oh, actually, alright, so for this little cover here on the transmission, it's a twist. So you're going to place it. So if you notice those tabs, those go here, and they just key in. So there's those little grooves in there. You can kind of see. There you go. So you can see those little grooves. So this just keys in there. So once it slides in, just like that, and just twist, and there, it's locked in place. All right, so we are all finished with the motor. We've got a ton of hardware here. All right, so motor, transmission, let's see. All right, so those are already installed. Now we have to go to that big giant plate. Perfect. All right, so the ESC is going to go on that plate. And this plate is going to screw on here. It looks like it goes here. Alright, how am I supposed to get that in there? I'm going to have to loosen the cage up. Good job, Kyosho. Alright, so to install that, you have to loosen this cage. Alright, so there. And there. Now, let me just check the box. I don't think you gave me a receiver. Nope, did not get a receiver. So your receiver would mount right in here. That's where your receiver would go. And then the antenna comes out through this hole, and then you get your little antenna tube that just goes there. Right in there. But we don't have the receiver to go there, so we're just going to mount this. Now, the servo wire has to go over this section here. Now you can't clip it in there, and that's fine, but your battery is going to slide in and out of here. So really, it is up to you if you want to do it. Kyosho in the instructions does have the wires running through the inside and then just clipping on here. So we're just going to do this based on the instructions. Now, these here, if you notice, this one is this way, the middle one is this way, and then the last one is facing out. So it's facing out, in, out, out, in, out. These are opposite. So you just have to run the wire through there, clip them on, and then it's going to go in here, and it'll be in this chamber here where your receiver will be. So that being said, I'll just go ahead and clip the wire on. And here we go, so the wire's on, and it's on. This is, all right, there we go. So taking some of the slack out. Oh, I I'm gonna have to remove the cage. Oh, that's fun. Just take these out. All right. Just going to remove these screws, that way I can lift the cage a little more. Well, can I get away without removing the whole thing? Of course not. All right. I do like kits, but, you know, completely disassembled kits. And the reason why is I just go step by step, follow every page, and that is it. Versus this comes, some of it comes pre-assembled, but I have to disassemble this, so what's the point? All right, so this would just go here, and that would just sit there. So if you remember on one of the pages it said to mount this back here, that is wrong. You mount it in the front. Why? Because this mounts in the back. One of the things to note is make sure the servo wire is out of the way so that it doesn't get caught here. Because if it gets caught there, you're going to mess up your wiring. And there goes your servo. We will install these later. Right now, we're going to open this up. Here's the bag. All right, rest of the hardware. And all of them are the same size. There's a few that are countersunk. And based on the instructions, I need, let's see. Oh, great. This was actually supposed to be installed first. There. And you're going to use the countersunk screws for this. Let me go ahead and do that. And it's going to be facing out. This is going to be facing out. Let's see. This says countersunk screws. There's only two, so it must be those. And let me just do the other one. There we go. All right. So that is the only thing I had to install. And after that, it's just the receiver is glued on top. That is it. So this is one of the nice things about Kyosho. So it tells you how to assemble everything on top first, and then how to assemble everything underneath. And I'm kidding. I'm joking. It'd be nice if it were backwards. But it does tell you that. So this is just going to go on there, and then it's the screws, and then we move on to the shocks, which the shocks appear to be pre-assembled. All right, so just going to leave the servo wire in there. My friend can just rewire it later on. But we do need the ESC. I'm going to go ahead and disconnect the ESC from the motor. I'm actually going to do those first since there's no receiver for me to run this wire. Just going to set those in. So normally you would place your ESC, and I would do it this way. Or this way. Just like that. Now, that was already cleaned, so don't worry about it. And then your motor wires, he's going to have to extend them. But anyway, you have the connector. The switch I'll mount later. Right now I'm just going to put those screws in. But that is it. That's how this goes. And actually, that's the little box for the switch right in there. Which would have been this can fit. Alright, I would have to modify this to make it fit in here, but this little thing here in the box, that's where your switch goes. I just don't know if he's actually going to keep this electronic system or not in here. So I'm not going to install it, but you know, this would just come out, those screws come out, the switch goes in there. So this being said, let me just put the screws in the holes. I'll leave them there, just it's easier than put them in baggies. I'm not throwing him all the way. I want to be nice. I don't want him to have to do too much work later on with the receiver. Let me do this one first. I will be letting him know that he has to take this cage out. Although he's probably going to watch the video and then he'll figure it out. No, I'm not going to screw these all the way. All right. Right, so the other thing, I just want this to hold the screws so the screws don't fall out. Perfect. This one's not threading in. So let's see, why not? So all I'm doing here is I'm checking the wires, making sure it's not pinching any wires. This is supposed to kind of set in, clip on. There it is. All right, so it should go. So I'm just holding it here. Now I'm in this awkward position because of the camera. Normally I'd set it on the table. There we go. All right, that one's there. Let's go ahead and do the rest. So we'll put that one in there. Put this one in here, and then we put this one in here. All right, so we just need these three. There we go. And you can feel when the screws thread in. So if you just got one of these, this is all you do. And something that happens, so the reason why I'm doing this video really, well, one of the reasons is some people will buy these really cool kits, but then you won't know how to repair them. And sometimes it's because of the manual, I'll be honest. Many times it's because of the manual. Alright, there we go. So we managed to keep the heatsink on. I'll just go over. So the motor's installed, heatsink is on. He'll be able to rotate this and place it however he wants. It's not touching the terminals on the motor. Terminals are here. This is going to have to be extended, so I don't know if he wants to extend or if he's going to replace the ESC. or if he's going to relocate, you can always relocate the ESC. It doesn't have to be there. The easiest thing would be to just extend the terminals here on the motor. So these wires, just extend them. But that is it. Battery connector over here. And as always, he always has way too much plumbing. Keep your plumbing simple. And by that, I mean your terminals. Keep them simple. This here, again, I don't really know if he wants to keep this ESC or not. That's why I did not modify it, but you would have to trim this to fit in there. That's where the switch goes. So for now, we're going to leave it like this. But at least I'm letting you know what you will need to do. And your receiver would have gone there. Your antenna tube would have come out through here. Sorry, your antenna would have come out through here, and then you just place your antenna tube on top. And that is it, really. All right. And bag 3. Now shocks are going to start on the following page. So they're going to start on page 26. That's where the shocks are, but it's going to show you how to assemble them. Let's just say you're doing some maintenance. You may have to disassemble them. Now bag 3 comes with 350 oil. So you do get one of those. Now I'm going to open up these bags so you get the fronts and the rears. Now let's just say you open them up accidentally and you're not sure which is which. Looks like tough luck here because they look about the same size. Usually the rears are longer, but in this case they look the same size. So what is the difference? No. Yeah, that is the difference. No, that's the same. Just by looking at them, I have no idea what the difference is. But it says front. Sometimes it could be the oil, but considering we only have one type of oil that's included with the kit, it's probably the same oil. Here, I'll open them up. So these are the fronts. Let's look at the rears. Alright, so this is a rear, this is a front. Let's see. They look the same. I cannot see a difference. I cannot find a difference. No, I'm not sure. They look the same. Alright, so for the shocks, for the fronts, one of the things that you're going to notice is you're going to notice this here, this little indentation in there, in the arm. That's where the bottom portion goes. And then the top is just going to go up here. So when this mounts, one of the things is that little bleeder there, I would face that out. And I'm going to check these really quick. Doesn't appear to have any oil. Alright, so these are dry. There's no oil in them, so you will have to fill them up with oil. So we're going to go through that process. Now you can remove the spring if you want, or you can leave it on. I'm going to remove it. So in order to remove it, you're just going to press down, hold the spring, and then this will just come out through there. See, it's keyed. All right, and the spring will go here. So you can do it with or without spring, really. I generally push the rod all the way down. Oh, I see the difference. There's a stop. All right, so this is the difference between the front and the rear. The shock is exactly the same. The only difference is there's this little stop on the front. That's it. filling up with oil. And one of the things that you want to do is you want to push the piston up slowly, and it should release some air if there's air in there. And just bring it back down. So one of the things you can't really tell because you need to look at an angle is the oil level went down, so then just add some more. Oh, that might have been a little too much. Let me get my handy dandy rag. You can use a towel for this as well. It doesn't have to be a rag. All I'm doing is I'm just pushing the piston up and down just to release the air bubbles. Just go slowly. Then you're going to grab the cap. I generally place the cap on top and I go left until I feel it kind of sit. And then I'll go right to actually tighten it. There we go. Not sure if you heard the click. But then I go right. And this way I know that I'm threading it correctly and I'm not screwing up the threads. Now this little bleeder here, don't worry about it yet. So you're going to tighten the cap. Do not over tighten. You can mess up the threads on the cap. But now, just going to do this for now, and then I'm going to open that bleeder up and bleed the system. And you're going to need a 1.5. 1.5. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to loosen this slightly, and then I'm going to push down on the shock to move that piston up slowly. And this paper towel should catch the excess. So I'm going to loosen. So I'm loosening. So you should be able to see some of that oil and bubbles coming out. You might not because of the camera, but there's oil and bubbles coming out. And I'm just going to push this all the way down. And once it's all the way down, I'm going to tighten this the whole way. Do not over tighten. Just has to be snug. If you over tighten, you can damage the little gasket that's here. It's not an O-ring. It looks like just a little gasket. So that little red ring, you can damage that. So do not over tighten. All right, perfect. And that feels good. And there we go. It's nice and smooth. Go, placing that back on. There we go. That feels so much better than when it was dry. So just by grabbing these, I mean, you can feel that one's dry. This is the one we just put oil in. So that being said, I'm going to go ahead and do this one. So I'm going to do them quickly off camera. Guess we can chat it up while I'm doing this. The main thing is to just go up and down until no more air bubbles come through. And all right, so we have this here. I don't need that. I need this. And I'm going to go through the whole process. So I'm going to need this one as well. Perfect. So the front two are set and ready. So those are ready. Oh, I used about half of the oil. They don't really give you much oil. All right. So again, this is going to go outward on here, and you are going to be using your 2mm. Let's open up the bag. You do have different length screws. So here, 4 of them are the same, 2 of them are longer. You can see these 2 are longer right over here compared to these, significantly longer, about a centimeter. And let's see, 15, 15. All right, so the front is going to use the same size all around. It's the rear that uses the longer ones, and these are going to go on top on the rear. So in the front, we're just going to use these. And I want this to be facing out. There we go. So there's one. And I'm going to tighten it all the way on the bottom. And I say this in many videos, some of you may use power tools, that's fine. I like to tighten everything by hand. Now, the reason why is because then I can feel how much force I'm applying, how much torque I'm applying. That's the reason why. For the front, it's actually easier if you go through the bumper. So if you just go through here, through this guard, rather than through the top. So if you go through the top, it's harder. If you go in through here, it's a lot easier. Almost there. And let's see. Let's try it a little more. There we go. Now, one thing to note is your shocks may move front to rear, so they will clip off. Just make sure they're on, and they're on in the right spot. So there, it's too far back. I have to move it forward. There we go. So it should fit like this. Right, and that is it. So we've got this arm. That arm moves freely. Perfect. And we just have to do the other one. Now, all I was doing, or all I did, was just place this one in here, and then I just dropped the screw through the hole, and then that was it. So there it is. That's all you do. Now I'm just going to tighten this. Perfect. All right. And we're going to use this over here. And when I place my fingers here, what I'm doing is I'm kind of pinching the tool to the screw to keep it aligned and to feel if this is backing out or not. And the reason why is it helps prevent damaging the heads, especially with MIP tools. This is a really high quality tool. So if you're going to damage something, it's actually going to be the screw, not the tool. And you should always use high quality tools, because if you use cheap tools, you're going to damage both the tool and the screw. So the only way you're going to damage screws with these drivers, like the MIP drivers, high quality drivers, is if you don't set it in all the way into the screw. So if instead of doing this, you allow this to kind of back out so it's not grabbing much material, it's kind of slipping, that's the only way really you're going to damage it. Unless you have incredibly cheap screws for some reason. That is almost done. Almost finished. Actually, it's probably easier if you start it inside in there, as I mentioned, but then finish it on the outside. And there we go. So now both of them are good to go. All right, here we go. Now we just have to do the rear. All right, so let's do the rear shocks. So let's keep these parts together over here. And the front and the rear is going to be the same, right? You're just going to open it up. These are dry. Put oil in there, move it up and down, get rid of the air. Let's see if you can actually see the bubbles. Oh, there you go. See, so those are the bubbles. And just go up and down a few times. And I'm actually just going to wait until some of those bubbles pop. And they will pop. But don't worry about it. They will rise to the surface. If not, you can always grab a little pin or your tool, for example. Kind of do that. They'll go away. And that is that. Let's pour more oil. Make sure everything's clean. All right. And again, do not over tighten. All right. Let's see, one more little pleating. We will be set. Perfect. Let's fill the other one. Yeah, so Kyosho barely gives you enough oil, so if you spill any, you're out of luck. Or if you ever fill one, you're out of luck. Now, if you have multiple RCs, it's not a big deal because you already have oil lying about, but it's just the very bottom. That's all the oil you get. You don't get much. All right, so we will be doing the same. A little more oil. Go. All right, perfect. All right, so these, there's different mounting positions. First, you want to slide this in, and this is going to go in here, and I would do the top first. So take the longer screw. This is the 25 millimeter screw. The 25 millimeter screw is going to go right in here. So slide it through the top, and then slide it in the hole, right where it goes, and we're going to go ahead and tighten this all the way. So you will be needing your 2 millimeter driver for this. And for some reason it's not threading on. Let's try it this way. Forever. Oh, there was an extra little bump. And let's say just a tad more. And that should be it. Alright. Let's grab this. Alright, and here you will select, so this is going to determine your suspension travel. And the bottom just goes in here. So this is going to depend on you. For me, I'm going to end up going with the factory, which is all the way to the rear. So this is going to go all the way to the rear. So it's this hole right in here. Good. That is good. Now we have to do the other side. I'm going to do the lower part first, actually. And do this. And this arm. Oh, great. Let me do this. Let's see which way these arms go. They're supposed to go out, right? And the picture does not show. picture does not show, which is fabulous. Don't show Kyosho. Ah, yes, they do go toward the rear. So let me go ahead and remove this screw here. I have to remove the top portion of the shock just to loosen it. There. All right. So these torsion arms, these go all the way up. They go toward the rear. So make sure this angle's toward the rear. That's it. Those arms right there. All right. So I'll worry about the top screw at a later point. And this you can actually turn. There we go. To move to the rear. That's the one I want. There we go. And that's it. All right, so both shocks are already attached to the bottom arm. Now I just need to attach them to the top mounting position. And that is it. So top mounting position is this little portion right up here. I have to switch the vehicle over. It'd probably be easier just for orientation if I do this. So it goes right in there. And that is all I have to do now. So I can actually set the vehicle this way, but if I do, I'm going to have to push the vehicle up, which is fine. Put the screw through the shock first, right, through that little hole. And then you are just going to drive it in there. And remember, these are the long screws. These are the 25mm screws. Here we go. There's number one. And again, do not over tighten. Let's do number two. Number two. That's it. All right, so your suspension is set. Perfect. Good, I like it. All right, so we have that. That is complete. So now at this point, we can open up the next bag. So bag 4 is actually the body. I'm going to skip that. Actually, bag 8 is shock plates. We don't need this. So bag 8 you don't need. Bag 6, this is other mountain hardware. This is for the cage. I'm not going to be, actually this may be for the body. This is for the body, and it's the hexes, so we're going to need 6. So we are skipping 8. 5 is for the body. Alright, so let's go to 6, and then we won't worry about 8. And then 7's the tires, so 8 is the only one I'm going to skip for now. Oh, these are nice. So I jumped ahead and just opened up this bag. These are really nice wheels. And we have this here, although I'll be honest, I think the body's more important. So let's actually work on the body. Alright. For the body, what we have here is we have a pre-trimmed Lexan body, and I actually really like this. This almost looks like a Scout, International Scout. And you have the masking. Oh no, these are actual stickers. See, these are the other stickers, so depending on which grill you want to go with. And these are your maskings for the windows. So the only thing that we're going to end up doing is we're going to end up cleaning the entire inside of this body. And we're going to mask the windows, because my Betty Rod always likes clear windows. We're going to mask them up with these pre-cut stickers here. So you'll be able to see the lines. They just peel off. And they'll fit right in there. And this is going to be painted Tamiya PS30. So make sure you use the PS paints for Lexan. If you use the T, it chips off. So make sure you use these. So we'll be back, and this will be masked, and then we're going to go ahead and paint.